Welcome to Hollywood Deli. I'm your host, Blue. So listen, we're going to talk about Matthew Knowles. If you don't know who Matthew Knowles is, he is Beyonce Carter, formerly known as Beyonce Knowles' father. And this messy man, he's so messy. He was married to Beyonce's mom for many, many years. And while he was married to Beyonce's mom, he fathered two children within the marriage. A little boy, very cute little boy. I forget what his name is. I think it's like Knox or something like that. The mother's name is Knox. I'm sorry, not Knox. Nixon, and he was the picture I'm looking at. He's 5 years old, and then he also had a beautiful little girl to another woman named Toya, and I'm not sure what this little girl's name is, but she's beautiful. She's dark skinned, got long, pretty hair, and she looks like her whoever her family is because I don't see any of Beyonce's dad in her, but different moms, whatever. So anyway, I love how like when he does interviews, he always interviews about race and things, which is important. And but he doesn't like to talk about his messy side. And I just hate that he gets off the hook like that because I feel like he needs to be put on the hook because thank God Beyonce fired this guy because he would have been a financial liability to her. Number one, he was taking 25% of her income and was taking some of her royalties, they said. And so she got rid of him for that very reason. And he was so upset with Beyonce, he stopped speaking to Beyonce for a little bit and was just very angry with her, because he's unemployed. And then he does an interview and he actually said out of his mouth that because Beyonce's light skin, that's why she made it so far in the industry. And I thought that was just so discrediting and so disheartening. And I wonder if Beyonce spoke with him about that. But I noticed that I don't see her with him very much at all, if any. She's more with the mom who has become really messy and toxic her damn self. So anyway, in here he talks about what his mother told him in regards to dating. So let's listen to this.
Your mother would tell you, don't ever bring no nappy headed black girl to my house.
Yeah, which was wrong. That was an era in the South that a lot of black women felt, women of color felt. And because I was one of the first blacks in junior high, one of the first in high school, University of Tennessee, I dated white girls when I was a kid because I internalized my mother saying, don't ever bring no black nappy haired girl home.
So, what was really going through your mind when your mother is saying, don't date someone who looks like me,
That
essentially?
I internalized that was ugly, not attractive, not the right type of girl that she wanted me to date or have a relationship with.
So, you start dating white girls.
Yes, I did.
So, you attended the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
Yes, one of the first blacks, and played basketball on
Right.
scholarship there.
Isn't that sad? The hatred that was spilled into this mother comes from slavery times where the slave owners would pit us against each other and the light skinned ones were put in the house, treated better, the dark skinned ones was out in the field. And that history of hatred spilled into her, I'm sure from her mother, that you don't date certain people. And so you damn sure don't date someone who looks like me. Isn't that sad? Because clearly the mom is dark skinned and has coarse hair because his hair is coarse, and which isn't necessarily coming from her, but I'm assuming just based on what Vlad said, and he confirmed yes. And the funny thing is, he interpreted that his mother wasn't beautiful, and that you don't bring someone that looks like your mother home. So he went the complete opposite, which is dating white women. And she don't understand like the danger she put him in. See, back in his day, segregation was real. Um, Jim Crow was real, and so not saying that it wasn't a real thing, but it was like in real time. And so for him to be pushed to date the complete opposite of her put him in danger. If he would have been caught with a white woman at in the wrong part of the South, they would have pulled his black ass up out of that room and lynched him. He's lucky that he was able to date these white women and not be harmed.
But then you got caught with a white girl.
I did.
So, did they kick you out of school or did you just transfer at that point?
Well, I was about to get kicked out. And this coach at Fisk University whispered in my ear.
And she put so much fear in him to not date black women that he was willing to risk it all dating white women. Like he risked his collegiate career dating white women. That's because of what his mother told him.
Because I played very well in the scrimmage, that if I ever wanted to go to Fisk University, to just call him. And I remembered that.
So you transferred to Fisk.
Transferred to Fisk.
But Fisk had the brown paper bag test.
Brown paper bag test.
This is a real thing?
Oh, absolutely. It's a
I
very known thing in the black community, the
'cause I
brown
remember
paper bag test. And they would ask you for a photo you had to submit with your registration. And they would put the photo up again.
And see, this is the part I never knew. I knew that the brown paper bag test was happening in black homes with the black mothers, where they would take the girls that their or the boys that their child was dating and put it up against the brown paper bag test about well put it up against their skin up against the brown paper bag, and if they were darker than the brown paper bag, they were seen as not good for their children.
Against the brown paper bag.
Well, did you pass the brown paper bag
No,
test?
that was the exemption were athletes.
Oh, because technically you wouldn't have passed.
I would not have passed at all, but athletes, we were exempted from that. Most of the athletes with my complexion that I played basketball with, the football, I didn't play football, but the football players.
Okay, and Fisk was primarily a black school?
It was all black,
All black.
100% black.
So you have a 100% black school that would not admit dark-skinned people if they were not athletes.
That's absolutely right.
Isn't that sad? A all black college was doing the brown paper bag test, but I shouldn't be surprised because it was happening in black homes. And he wouldn't have been admitted. If he wasn't an athlete, he would have failed the test and they wouldn't have admitted him. And this is craziness. And I'm assuming the faculty was black, but they could have been white administering this test too.
Or if they were women and they had very prominent families, or very wealthy families that donated a significant amount of money to the school.
So you end up, based on the history and everything you've been taught and so forth, everything you've been exposed to, you go and consciously or unconsciously marry someone much lighter than yourself.
Exactly.
So I talk about in my book that I've spent years and years at a therapist just to go through this whole thing called racism. So I'm just overwhelmed by the number of people that are now talking about colorism, talking about racism.
All right, so we're not going to listen to all that. But he also said in an interview that he only married Beyonce's mom because he thought she was a white woman because of her features. And I was like, I looked at her and I'm like, ain't nothing about her that look like a white woman, but hey, I guess he was so color struck. So now I look at the mother of his children, right? The mother of his daughter, these outside babies, would not be allowed at his mother's house. She was dark skinned and she had coarse hair. The other one might have been Nixon's mom because she was light skinned but she had coarse hair, so I don't know if she would have passed the mom's test either. And I know for damn sure his current wife, Gina, would not have been allowed at his mom's house. She has coarse hair and she is dark skinned. And so I'm happy for him. He's finally able to be, free of his colorism issues, I guess. And, you know, he said he went to therapy, and I'm glad because it sounded like he had a lot of trauma behind all this. And so maybe that's why he would cheat on Beyonce's mom because he wasn't happy with her because he was felt maybe forced to marry her to appease his family and to be accepted, I guess, in whatever world that he was, not financially, but just as a professional. Because like now you see like it's coming out that all the top actors and athletes and whatnot are expected to marry Malaysian or really light skinned black women, mixed women, because they are seen as the standard of beauty. And so, this is really sad. But anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you leave 5-star rating, and y'all have a good night.